Hello, fellow guitar geeks! In this video, we're going to talk about learning songs, the reason that I play guitar. More specifically, we're going to talk about a new way that I've found to learn songs quicker and play along with backing tracks made from the original song files themselves, using artificial intelligence. I recently received an email asking me if I'd like to try an app called Moises. And in that email, there were some pretty wild claims as to what the app can do. When I started learning guitar, there was no internet, learning resources were very limited, lessons were expensive, and books were expensive. So the way that I learned songs to play in my band was to put on the cassette or the CD and try and pick out the guitar parts and then translate that to my guitar playing skills and somehow get through the song. Now, although that method helped me train my ear, and it's a skill that I'm glad I acquired, I do wish that it would have been easier, or at least took less time so I could spend more time playing guitar. And thankfully, now I'm confident in saying that those days are over due to the Moises app. But rather than take my word for it, I'm going to show you. Let's jump into the app and take a quick look. So here's what the app looks like. You can see some familiar controls like play and rewind and fast forward. If I press play, we get the track coming in. Now, normally with music that's mixed, the only thing we can really affect is the volume and maybe the EQ by adjusting the bass, middle, and treble frequencies. However, with Moises, it's split the instruments into different tracks, so I can now affect them like this. I can remove the guitar. I can remove the drums. Bring the drums back. I can only have drums. Here is a super magic thing. I can actually put on a smart metronome. Now what this does is it doesn't just detect the BPM of the song, the speed of the song. It can adjust itself to a track that was not recorded to a click track. So if you've got a really old song, like one of the Hendrix songs or Cream or Beatles that they did not use a click track for, and you want to keep in time by taking out the drums or taking out whatever, the smart metronome very convincingly keeps you in time by clicking. Let's have a little listen. So I haven't got to that part of the song yet. That was me learning by following the chords on screen. And it did a really good job of following them. There's a little riff there. So what else we can do if I go... How do I go back? I go back by just moving that. How far did I go back? Bum bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ba ba. That's very reminiscent of that riff, but it's not quite that riff. So what I need to do is I'm going to solo the guitar and play it back again. Something like that. What I can also do is slow it down. You might see this little metronome just here. I can slow it down and keep the pitch. There, so it's a little simple riff, but just slowing it down. You can also loop this thing, so if I wanted to create a little loop, and it would just keep playing that part of the song over and over until I nailed it, and then I can just do the opposite to what I've done. Take the guitar down. Oh, let's take that back up. Oh, reset. There we go. It changes there a little bit. That's cool. Something like that. But if I wanted to stick with it, I could use this tool and absolutely learn that song pretty much piece for piece by taking out the other parts. If it had a vocal, I could take the vocal out. There is no vocal in this song. Now, if your brain is switched on, and maybe this is the first time you've seen something like this, you should be firing with ideas right now. That's exactly how I felt when I first did this and saw this and realized the potential of what I could do with the Moises app. Not only can you remove the other instruments just leaving the guitar and then slow it down if necessary so you can just hear the guitar parts and work out what's being played a little easier, well, a lot easier, you can then do the opposite. You can reverse that and put all the instruments in, take out the guitar, and then you put in the guitar yourself with your guitar, thus creating backing tracks from the original tracks themselves. Then you could leave it there and just be happy with learning the parts yourself and then taking the parts you've learned to your band rehearsal or whatever you want to do with them. Or you can export the individual stems, put them into your DAW, and then record yourself playing guitar along to it, upload it onto social media, and garner the attention of millions of fans worldwide and become the rock star you've always wanted to be. Maybe. Now, if what I've done with the app has intrigued you in the slightest, I have some very good news for you. In the video description down there is a download link to a free version of the app, where you can download it for free to your iPhone, your iPad, any Android device, your Mac, your PC, or if you've got a web browser, there is a web browser version to try out. So the link's down there. If you fancy it, go and check it out now. If you want to know a little bit more and dive a little bit deeper, continue watching. So, you're still here. Good. I recommend that you stay just a little bit longer just to find out what else we can do, because you probably have some questions. And the big question that I had was, how do I get music into the Moises app in the first place? And that is pretty simple. What you do is you press the plus button just at the top there, and you get these 4 options. You can import from a public URL or from a cloud service. You can import from iTunes. You can import from your camera roll, and you can import from Files apps such as Apple Files or Dropbox or Google Drive. Now, I'm using this on my iPad, so if you're using it on an Android device, it might be a little bit different, but the same sort of things apply. I'm going to import directly from iTunes and then have a look at my iTunes library, and I'm not going to go for Frozen, we'll go for some Eagles of Death Metal, and I like God of Woman, so we're going for that riff there. This is a rock track. It asks you if you want to separate it via vocals, drums, bass, or other being guitar. There, vocals, drums, bass, guitar, or other. That's the one I'm going to go for, and then submit. Now, after a little bit of thinking and processing time, God of Woman is just there. And that's a very usable track. So I'm going to use the beta function. So I'm already pretty much there. I need a little bit of listen when I'm not on camera to really learn that. But the start is there, and when I've learned it, I just put all the instruments back in, except the guitar. So for those of you who can actually play that song, apologies for playing it definitely how they're not playing it. But you get the idea, right? And then if I want to put the mix back to how it was, I just press the reset button there. Or if I want to download the stem files, I press the download button at the top. I can have the separated tracks and then the audio mix as well. I like to do both, so I can put the separated tracks and the audio mix in my DAW, which is Logic, and really mess with it and have some fun. So that is the Moises app. That's most of the features. There's even more features if you go to the web version. There's a mastering service. So if you have a track that you've recorded and you want to get it mastered, again using artificial intelligence, you can upload to the website and it will master for you. That's something you should try for sure if you sign up using the link down below. Speaking of the link, I was extremely skeptical when Moises reached out to me. I don't like receiving emails about apps because more often than not, the apps that I get sent to test either don't work or they're clunky or there's just too much or it's super, super expensive and I don't like doing them. However, once I've tried Moises, I think it's a really great practice tool that is worth spending your time with. As I've already said, there's a link in the video description to download the free version, but if you try it and you really like it, there's also the premium version, which operates on a monthly subscription. And I don't normally like monthly subscriptions. I would rather pay for something and have it paid for. However, with Moises, even though I've been using it only 3 months, it has changed, it has improved, it has progressed. It has not only improved in the functions, but improved in the way the music sounds. So I've noticed a big difference between how it sounds now and how it sounded when I started using it a few months ago, because I have been testing it that long before I made this video. And this subscription service is one of the few that I will stand behind, because they're not just taking the money and running, they are indeed ploughing it back into the app and improving it for you. And if you do try it out, please let me know in the comment section what you think of it and how you got on, and I wish you fun with it. Enjoy it. You've reached the end of the video, which means you are a proud member of the End of the Video Club, and to prove that you are a member of this prestigious elite, when you leave your comment below telling me about your experience with Moises and things like that, also include the phrase wave isolation. And that will let me know that you've watched this part of the video, and it will appease the YouTube gods, and they will shine their goodness merrily down upon me. Thank you for doing that. My name is Andy. I wish you fun and luck with your guitar playing and the Moises app. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.